All right, so since Donald Trump lost the election in November and his fragile ego would not allow him to admit that, yes, he did lose the election fair and square, he was pushing, obviously, what people called the big lie, I guess, but just basically the narrative that there was somehow widespread voter fraud, even though nobody was able to prove that. There was no real legitimate evidence of widespread voter fraud in the election. Donald Trump continued to push that lie, and that lie has led to the Republican Party now, all across the country, passing anti-voter, voter suppression laws all across the country that are really have no intention whatsoever other than suppressing the vote, and specifically suppressing the black vote, especially in states like Georgia, where a new bill that's called SB 202 was just signed into law by Governor Brian Kemp. And while he was signing this bill into law, and we're going to get into some of the details as to the ridiculous shit that's in this bill, but while he was signing this bill into law, a state representative was arrested for just knocking on the door while he was signing this bill in private. So let's go ahead and read some of the details, and then I'm going to show you the video. So Democratic Georgia State Representative Park Cannon was arrested and reportedly charged with 2 felonies late Thursday for knocking on Republican Governor Brian Kemp's office door as he signed into law a sweeping voter suppression bill that aims to curtail ballot drop boxes, impose more strict voter ID requirements for absentee ballots, and give the GOP legislature significant control over the state election board. Another part of this that is the most ridiculous part of it, even though those are probably more damaging, but just to give you a perspective on the attitude that Republicans are approaching these bills with, it is now illegal in Georgia. It is now a misdemeanor crime to hand people water or food that are standing in line to vote. So in these cases where in primarily minority communities you have lines that are like 6, 7, 8 hours long, it is now a crime to hand them water while they're standing in line. Please explain to me what exactly would be the justification for that other than just suppressing the vote and being a dickhead to try to make it impossible for people to vote, specifically targeted towards minorities. There is no other justification. But anyways, here's the video itself.
Why does she have to step back?
The governor is signing a bill that affects all Georgians. Why is he doing it in private, and why is he trying to keep elected officials who are representing us out of the process?
Exactly.
I know you don't have any control over anything other than suppressing people's right to vote and using your guns and your abilities to talk.
Yeah, you said you give her one more time, like you're gonna do something. Are you serious?
No, you are not.
No. She's not under arrest. What is
For what? Under arrest for what? For trying to see something that our governor is doing? Our governor is signing a bill that affects all Georgians, and you're going to arrest an elected representative. Why does the governor have more power than a representative?
Why are you arresting?
Why are you arresting her?
That's what I'm asking.
Stop
you.
arresting her.
Why are you arresting
Why?
her? Why are you arresting her?
Cite the violation. Cite the code. What is she in violation of? I want you to cite the code. Cite the code. Cite it. What are you? Cite the code. Cite the code. Cite the code. Why are you arresting her? Under what? Under what?
Back up. Get out of the way.
Under what law are you arresting her? Why are you arresting her? Why are you arresting her? Tell us now. Why are you arresting her? Cite it. Give me a reason why you are arresting her.
Yeah, so that is obviously ridiculous here, and I think Lee Carter summarizes it well here when he says this. If this was any other country, the news would say, in the U.S. province of Georgia, security forces arrested an opposition leader at the signing of a new anti-democracy bill into law. This law is part of a crackdown on voting undertaken after opposition wins in recent elections. So yeah, I mean, that pretty much is a perfect synopsis of the current situation. Republicans are all across the country, but in this specific example in Georgia, making it harder for people to vote because they understand more people voting means they are less likely to win elections because, again, their policy agendas of giving tax breaks to billionaires or funding extremely bloated military budgets, even though Democrats do that as well, and et cetera, et cetera. Their corrupt platform that they put forward is extremely unpopular, and they understand that, so they are anti-democracy, and these are the steps that they're taking the lengths that they are willing to go, even including arresting state lawmakers for doing nothing other than knocking on the door to try to get into a private meeting where a collection of a bunch of white men get together to pass a bill that is designed to do nothing other than suppress black votes and suppress minority votes in the state of Georgia. So don't let them pretend as if this is, about election security at all. It's obviously not about election security. It's the entire basis of this narrative that we need more secure elections is ridiculous. The Republican official who was in charge of the elections in Georgia said himself that there was no widespread voter fraud. So there's not an issue of election security. This is purely about them doing voter suppression. And remember that, don't let them use these bullshit arguments about election security and shit like that. And this is absolutely egregious, not just the fact that she was getting arrested in this instance, and even literally charged. Like, they're trying to carry out these charges against her. So ridiculous situation that we're in right now. But this is where the Republican Party is.